Hey, what's good YouTube, it's Kajin. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the crystals inside of Peroxide. For those that didn't know, the crystals are pretty much like debroken enchants. They give you special abilities to your weapon, to your skills. So you could use a crystal on one of your skills and it will upgrade it. It might make you do more damage, etc. We're going to be ranking all of them in today's video. For those that didn't know how to actually get a crystal, if you have 10 time relics and you go to the Shady Shinigami NPC, it pretty much will give you a random one. And obviously there are rates to it, so like some of them are rarer than the others. However, the rarity doesn't mean that it's necessarily an S tier. I'm going to be ranking all of them based on what I think they are and how I think, how practical they are in PvP and whatnot, and what scenarios they could be used in, etc. So yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Right now, we're really close to 4K. I'm trying to hit 4K by the end of the month. You know what I'm saying? We hit 3.5K not too long ago. We're trying to hit 4K. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that sub button. It'd be much appreciated. 50 likes and I'll do a part 2. Without further ado, man, let's get straight into it, bro. Alright, so starting off with C tier, we got 4 different crystals. The first crystal is the crystal of shadow, the crystal of force, the crystal of prodigy, and the crystal of digression. For those that didn't know, the crystal of shadow, pretty much what it does is, I have an image of it on screen obviously, but when you hit somebody with the attack, like when you hit somebody for a skill that has this crystal on it, it will darken the screen and it makes them do 5% less damage. It's pretty mid, I mean, compared to the other ones in this list, which is still decent, but like overall it's pretty mid, so C tier. Next is the crystal of force. This is also a C tier because it literally just adds knockback to your opponent, to your skill. And in my opinion, I don't really see how that's going to be useful. I mean, maybe it's good like if you want to run away, but besides that, I don't really see a use. So because of that, I'm going to put it a C tier. I mean, the knockback is quite heavy, but compared to some of the other ones in this list, it's not that good. Next, we've got the crystal of prodigy, which pretty much just enhances the mastery of the skill that is being used. So I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it could be good for certain skills, but overall you have just better options on the list, which you're going to see shortly. Finally, we got the crystal of digression, which this might be kind of iffy. Like you could argue that this could be higher, but pretty much what it does is when you hit somebody, it applies a mark, which pretty much makes it so whatever crystal they have doesn't work on you. I have a clip of it on screen. Obviously, in my opinion, it's just not that useful because crystals don't really carry end game. I mean, they're good, but you can still be good without a crystal, you know what I mean? So if you were to use this crystal, you're pretty much just stopping them from using their own crystal, which doesn't really do anything. Moving on to the B tier, we got a lot here. We got the crystal of glass, creep, aegis, clutch, spirit, inferno, null, and wind. Starting off with glass is pretty decent. That's why it's at B tier, mainly because of the fact that if you hit somebody with a block breaker skill, it will do the same amount of damage as it would if it wasn't a block, if you didn't block break them, if that makes sense. So it's pretty good. I can imagine you could use a big AoE block breaker skill, whatever, and then you still have the full damage, assuming they block it, because most of the time they're gonna block it. You still do the full damage. It's not the best, which is why it's a B tier, but yeah, I still think it's decent. Crystal of creep is a pretty solid B tier. Pretty much when you hit somebody for a skill that has this crystal on, you take the Ryatsu when you hit them. So it's pretty much like lifesteal, etc., stealing the Ryatsu, which is why it's pretty decent. Only can use on one skill, obviously. It's okay. I'll give it a B tier. Next up, we got the crystal of aegis, which in my opinion, this could be argued. You could argue this is higher as well, but in my opinion, I put it at B tier. It pretty much makes any skill that you have this crystal on have hyper armor, which is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You can use like your ultimate attacks, whatever. You can do anything, and your skills will have hyper armor, which is pretty OP. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's still, I keep saying this, but there is still some better options later on down the list. But if you have this or anything else in B tier, you should consider keeping it because it's pretty good. Next up, we got the crystal of clutch. This is also a B tier. Pretty much what it does, if you didn't know, is it pulls your opponent into you when you use a skill. So you could use like a wind skill and it will pull your opponent into you and hit them with a skill, if that makes sense. So it pretty much makes it easier for you to land skills. You can imagine you could use it like a block breaker skill, etc. It has a lot of, it could be very brain dead. You know what I'm saying? So I feel I'll put it at B tier. Next up, we got the crystal of spirit. This is a very easy B tier. The reason why is because it halves the cost of Ryatsu for using that one skill, and it also removes any anti-Ryatsu regen from the skill. So say somebody hits you with an anti-Ryatsu regen skill or something like that, you could having this crystal would revert that pretty much. It's pretty good. Next, we got the crystal of inferno. This is, as the name implies, it pretty much just adds burn to your attack. I mean, who doesn't want it? Pretty much just extra damage. Not to mention the flames do decent damage, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty good. Put it at B tier. Would it be fair to put it at C tier, but I don't think it deserves A tier either. Next up, we got the crystal of null. This is kind of like a double-edged sword, mainly because of the fact that if you use it, you have like the mood that you use it on will have like a massive damage increase. However, after you use that skill, you have a damage decrease for like a certain amount of time. I don't know the exact time, but you get a damage decrease. So because of that, it can't go any higher, but I can imagine situations and scenarios where this would be very useful, so I'm putting it at B tier. Next, we got the Crystal of Wind, which, as the name implies, it pretty much makes you, like when you use a skill, it does a little dash that has perfect dodges, which pretty much means that if they try to hit you, or like, you know, I don't know, try to blubber you, whatever, you can't get hit while you're using it, and it will automatically dodge it, and then you'll use a skill. So it's pretty much almost a free land. It pretty much almost lands your skill for free. It's pretty good. I put it at B tier, and yeah, on to A tier now. Now, before we get on to A tier, I would like to say, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys do hit that sub button. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to hit 4K, for me. Like, we're really close. We're trying to hit it by the end of this month. We're about 500 away, but at the rate we're growing right now, I think is actually possible. You know what I'm saying? So hit that sub button, join my Discord server. You know what I'm saying? It could be a birthday gift. You guys didn't know it's my birthday today, so, you know, hitting that sub button would be appreciated. Without further ado, let's get back into the video. Next up, we got the Crystal of Reap. Pretty much what it does is it prevents a person from healing any healing. Like, say they have medical, whatever, they cannot heal apart from health packs. So this is pretty good for, like, say you're jumping somebody that's really strong. You could use this crystal on them. Bam, they're not able to heal anymore. They only can rely on health packs. They're probably gonna die. So A tier. Next, we got the Crystal of Chains, which is another A tier. The reason why it's A tier is because if you hit somebody with it and there's another person near them, the chain will attach that other person and pretty much attack, like any damage that you do to one of the people will transfer to the second person without even hitting them. So they could be blocking and still be taking damage. It's a very easy A tier. Next, we got the Crystal of Exponentially, which pretty much, basically, if you hit somebody for skill, instead of them taking the damage instantly, they'll take the damage about like 5-10 seconds later, and that move will do 30% more damage. So it's pretty good for applying pressure, knowing that they're gonna get hit. It also, like, you know, it still stuns them and stuff, so you'll be able to combo them. It's pretty good. This is an easy A tier. Next up, we got the Crystal of Despair, which pretty much surrounds your opponent with a dark aura, not allowing them to use any skills, and it also puts you in some kind of like invisible mode where you're invisible. They can't really see where you are. Helps you, you know, land sneak attacks, etc. It's pretty good. A tier. And now for the first S tier, we got the Crystal of Terror. Pretty much what it does is it builds a wall behind the opponent. So imagine you hit them with like a knockback skill, it would hit them against the invisible wall and let you combo extend. Pretty much, it's very OP. It does extra damage and whatnot. It pretty much just helps you infinite combo people, bro. It's brain dead. Next up, we got the Crystal of Ikra. You guys already knew this is going to be here. It gives life steal to whatever ability you use. It's obviously an easy S tier. It's brain dead. Who wouldn't want to get this, bro? You know what I'm saying? Easy S tier. I don't really need to explain. Last but not least, we got the Crystal of Conduction, which pretty much makes whatever you hit somebody for skill, it will slam them down and do like a little lightning strike, which does damage. The slam down is pretty much why I give this S tier, because if you guys didn't know, in this game, if you slam someone down, there's a lot of dirty things you could do. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty good. It's really good, especially if you're 2v1ing somebody, you can infinite combo them and whatnot. But yeah, that's an S tier. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Yeah, if you guys disagree with any of the things I said in this video, make sure you drop a comment, explain why. I respond to all the comments regardless, so if you drop a comment, you know, you can explain your reasoning as to why you think something should be higher or maybe lower, whatever. I'm saying I respond to your comment regardless. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 4K, like I've said. We're really close, trying to get it by the end of this month. So yeah, join my Discord server as well. We're doing some giveaways there for other games. We will be doing some giveaways for this game as well very soon, so join that Discord server. Top link in the description. And without further ado, man, it's been Kaijin. Let's roll the outro.
近々なんか見えない絆なんて